It's the granddaddy of them all, and I have to say I love this Rose Bowl. We have number 11 Penn State making their first Rose Bowl appearance since 2017, taking on number 8 Utah, who is in their second straight Rose Bowl after winning the Pac-12 for the second year in a row. This is going to be a great game, guys. This is one of the best New Year's Six Bowl games in the entire slate, and we're here to break down everything you need to know for this battle between the Nittany Lions and the Utes, and of course share our official prediction. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in that description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. It is never too late to sign up for expert picks. We still have our holidays special package out there, guys. It's going to give you the rest of the bowl game picks and all of the NFL playoff picks. So the rest of the bowl games, national championship included, plus NFL playoff picks combined into one package. But again, if you buy any of the other packages, it's a year-long subscription for a group of picks that is beating out over 80% of the national analysts and has been doing so each of the last 4 years. So if you buy in February, well, you get it all for the next season and into the postseason. If you buy it in March, same deal. You buy it midway through the season, same deal. You get through midway of the next season. Never too early and never too late to sign up for the expert picks, guys, and we can guarantee that you will win big with our expert picks. Check it out, the link down in the description below. So let's dive into this game, guys. We'll start on offense, and we'll start with Penn State, the designated road team in this Rose Bowl. The offense for Penn State, to me, doesn't get talked about nearly enough. You know, everybody in the Big Ten talked about Ohio State and Michigan and guys like that, but Penn State's over here averaging nearly 36 points per game, over 250 passing yards per game, and over 180 rushing yards per game. This is an offense that's balanced. They have that explosive capability, and no one really seemed to be talking about them. Sean Clifford, of course, leads the way at quarterback, having thrown for over 2,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions. But the unfortunate thing for Penn State entering the Rose Bowl is they're going to be without their top wide receiver in Parker Washington, who led the team with 611 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he is not playing, of course, opting out, as many players are across the country for the NFL. Penn State does have a very, very good running game, though, and that's something that we kind of going to talk about a lot throughout this video. Nick Singleton, 941 yards, 10 touchdowns on the year, alongside Katron Allen, 830 yards, 9 touchdowns on the year. Those two guys are not just one of the best duos in the country now, but will continue to be so as long as they're together. Singleton and Allen are elite and give Penn State a very good chance to win this game against Utah. The ultimate game, the goal for Penn State when it's all said and done offensively is to maintain the balance. We saw the numbers over the course of the year, 250 through the air, but 182 on the ground. If they can maintain that, they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. And you look at what happened in the 2 losses to Ohio State and Michigan, they were unable to be balanced. 371 passing yards to 111 rushing yards against Ohio State, 157 passing yards and 111 rushing yards against Michigan. Both of those losses, the only 2 losses for Penn State. They were unable to get balance, and they were unable to get the ground game going, never eclipsing 111 rushing yards. They eclipsed that, got a good chance to win. Utah, on the other hand, their offense is pretty electric as well. 40 points per game, over 250 through the air, and 220 on the ground. That's what they're averaging. They are very, very balanced, very tough to beat. But they're without a few key players as well. They're going to be without Tavion Thomas, who was out of that Pac-12 championship game, so that's not really a new development. Utah crushed USC in the championship game without him. But no Tavion Thomas at running back, no Dalton Kincaid at tight end, the leading pass catcher for Utah, 890 yards and 8 touchdowns. Kind of got injured and banged up in that USC game, not going to play in this Rose Bowl. So they are down their top rusher. They are down their top pass catcher, just like Penn State is down their top pass catcher. Talk about making it even. Cam Rising, of course, is the X factor for Utah. Over 2,900 yards, 25 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions, also adding over 400 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. If Cam Rising is under center and Cam Rising is healthy and good to go, he gives Utah, to me, a fighting chance in just about every game that they play. Cam Rising is that good. He is the X factor for this offense for Utah. His veteran ability to read the field, to make good decisions, great arm, but also that dual threat capability as well. But he has to take care of the football. That's going to be the ultimate decision. He's a good QB, only 7 interceptions on the year, but he had 3 interceptions against Oregon late in the year. He had 1 interception versus UCLA, 2 overall turnovers for Utah in that game. He had a pick against Florida in those 3 regular season losses. So, you look at those games against Oregon, UCLA, Florida, Rising was responsible for the majority of the turnovers in those games, and they end up losing narrowly to Oregon, narrowly to Florida, by 10 to UCLA. Take care of the football offensively, and you're going to be fine if you are Utah. You look at the defense, though, Penn State wants to take the ball away. They have 24 takeaways on the year. So this isn't going to be easy by any means. This is a great opportunity for Penn State to rack up a few more extra turnovers to their resume in 2022. 18 points per game, that's all the Nittany Lions are giving up. Just about 213 through the air, only 105 on the ground. I'll say right now that both teams have a very stingy rushing defense, so it ultimately could come down to which passing game can get it going the most. Well, Penn State's going to be without one of their best pass defenders in cornerback Joey Porter Jr., who will be opting out for the NFL. So that's a huge loss in the secondary for Penn State, going up against a good passing attack led by Cam Rising. You look at the numbers again in the two losses that Penn State has. Against Michigan, they gave up 145 passing yards and 418 rushing yards. Against Ohio State, they gave up 354 passing yards, only 98 rushing yards. So kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum there. What that shows you, though, is that Penn State was unable to stop the other team's strength. Michigan wants to run the ball. Ohio State wants to throw the ball. They couldn't stop the run against the Wolverines, and they allowed Ohio State to throw all over them in that 13-point victory for the Buckeyes. So Penn State has to find a way to stop Utah's strength. And the question is, what might that be? If they're very balanced offensively, what's that going to be? If I am Penn State, I am trying to find a way to stop the pass. Stop Cam Rising from being that X factor that we just mentioned. Make Utah one-dimensional and do that by stopping the pass, especially since they're not going to have Tavion Thomas in the backfield at running back. Utah, on the other hand, defensively, per usual from Kyle Whittingham, is pretty dang strong. Very strong Utes defense, only giving up 20.4 points per game, 218 through the air, and 107 rushing yards per game. So both teams, as we mentioned, very stingy against the run. It'll be interesting to see if Utah can generate any sort of rushing game against them. It'll be interesting to see if Penn State with Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, as we mentioned, if they can generate anything against this Utah front. But you take a look at the numbers again. Yes, Utah has 38 sacks on the year. Like Penn State, they had 24 takeaways, pretty dang good. But look at a couple of the losses. 168 passing yards and 283 rushing yards given to Florida. 299 through the air, 203 on the ground against UCLA. 287 passing, 59 rushing against Oregon. So you look at some of those, once again, kind of catering to a team's strength. Florida at the time in the season opener was relying on Anthony Richardson and his legs. Utah couldn't stop him. UCLA wanted to maintain that balance with Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Zach Charbonnet. They did that against Utah. And then against Oregon, Bo Nix in that passing attack nearly put up 300 yards on them and did force 3 turnovers defensively. We know that Utah will be without one of their top pass defenders, and Clark Phillips III. He had 6 interceptions on the year. So again, talk about even. Both teams are down their top pass catcher. Both teams are down their top cornerback. It's going to be very interesting to see which team gives here. Ultimately, for Utah, though, they need to find a way to stop the run. So we mentioned Penn State stopped the pass, Utah stopped the run. Those are the keys defensively to give yourself the best chance to win. Because while Sean Clifford is a very, very good quarterback, can he go out there and single-handedly win the game for Penn State without his top wide receiver? That is the million-dollar question. What's going to happen, guys, at the Rose Bowl? Always a spectacle. Always one of the must-watch bowl games. Typically put some great programs against each other. It's historic. This is a must-see game on the second New Year's, the day after New Year's. Thanks, NFL. I'll tell you this, though, guys. Everybody wants to look at this game. They go, oh, well, Utah's shorthanded, Penn State's shorthanded, da-da-da-da. I'm going to go with Utah here, and here's why. I like Utah a lot. Utah was shorthanded in that Pac-12 championship game. They had a couple players that were missing from injuries or opting out or whatever it was, and they still beat USC, one of the best offenses in the country, beat them 47-24. They put up 533 yards of offense, had 7 sacks defensively, and the majority of that defense for Utah is still intact. This Utah team made the Rose Bowl last year, nearly won it last year, falling narrowly to Ohio State in one of the best Rose Bowl games we've ever seen. Penn State, last time they were here, fell in heartbreaking fashion in one of the best Rose Bowls we've ever seen when they lost to USC as time expired. I don't think the Utes allow the Rose Bowl to get away from them this year. They want this game bad. They just missed out last year. They've got the Pac-12 championships. That's great. Let's send these seniors out with something they've never had before, and that is a Rose Bowl victory. Give me the Utes to finally win the Rose Bowl and capture an 11-win season in what could be one of the best bowl games of the entire postseason. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks like we mentioned. It's never too early or never too late to sign up for those expert picks because we can guarantee that you're going to have some big time winnings. Check it out, the link down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.